Tonight on NewsCenter, here's some study tips for finals week. Here's students' reactions to another freeze, this time for housing.
Oh, okay, well maybe I should try that out because we don't make enough. And that's really it, like, we don't make enough.
And a student forced to turn to food stamps because of what she says is her low-paying campus job. All this and more tonight on NewsCenter.
For joining us, I'm Nate Brown.
And I'm Drew Spangler. Here's what's making the headlines for May 3rd, 2018.
After years of increases, tuition and housing prices are finally getting a break. NewsCenter Jacob Butler has the story.
Morehead State announced plans to freeze the current tuition for the upcoming school year, and MSU President Dr. Jay Morgan added on to that by confirming that housing rates will remain the same as well, with the exception of Andrews Hall. Freshman Mogan Busher was worried rates would increase again this year to fund construction projects.
If they continue to work on the buildings that they have here and they continue to need funding for that, they're going to have to raise the price here. If it were to go up like gradually over time, like, you know, as it has in the past few years, then I would just be like devastated. I'm barely able to pay for it now, let alone like even more, you know. So like even with financial aid and everything, I still have to pay like $2,000 into this thing, you know. Like, it's just crazy.
Relief came to Busher, an out-of-state student, with the announcement of the freeze. However, the rates are still pending as the Board of Regents must approve them at their June meeting.
The housing and tuition freeze, man, that was like cool to hear about, man. I was like, wow, dude, this is like a thing that helps me personally because I'm an out-of-state student. I pay significantly more than a lot of students that go here, you know. It's a major thing, you know.
For NewsCenter, this is Jacob Butler.
Andrews Hall is excluded from the freeze and may expect to see an increase in price.
Democratic candidates gathered for an open forum on Tuesday to discuss their ideas and why voters should cast their vote in their direction. During the meeting, MSPR's Jacob Lindberg asked the candidates how they may respond to the national media attention that is possible during the primary elections that include current clerk Kim Davis. Clerk candidate Elwood Cottle had commented that he would handle visiting media.
If I get through May, the primary, I will not bring back the media. I won't have it. There won't be any media to run from for anybody, and it should never went that way. So, and if they're all out there listening, I will do a little interview with you, but don't come back because I don't want you back.
Cottle faces David Ermold, James Jesse, and Natasha Fife. The primary is on May 22nd.
The Morehead Police Department is waiting to get a new facility. The Police Department alongside of the Morehead Fire Department are expected to get a new combined structure early next year. Morehead officials involved in the project are trying to secure a location for the estimated $4 million project. The building that the department is currently located in was constructed during the 1930s and has been used for several decades. So the new modern facility is expected to make the workplace better and more enjoyable for the entire department.
A film production team is coming to Round County to film London is Calling. The film is currently in pre-production and the filming is expected to begin on May 21st. The movie is directed by Scott Weiper, who helped write many films including The Commended, and who also acted in the movie Pearl Harbor. The portion of the filming being shot in Round County will be within the 30-mile radius of Morehead. Extras are needed for the film, and auditions will be held Sunday, May 6th, from noon until 4 p.m. at the Round County Arts Center.
A new swing has come to DNS Community Services that allows disabled people the opportunity to swing regardless of their physical ability. This new swing is a recent design that is an all-exclusive self-propelled swing and is the first of its kind in the area. Morehead has agreed to save 2 of these swings at City Park and 1 at the playground and 1 at the splash pad. A future NBA player is making a stop in Morehead to meet fans. Former University of Kentucky Wildcat Kevin Knox plans to stop at the Sleep Outfitters today from 6:30 to 8 p.m. as a part of his autograph tour. Kevin Knox isn't the first to make a tour stop. Forward Shea Gilgeous-Alexander held an autograph session last month at the Buffalo Wild Wings. Knox has not released the prices of the session, but you can find more information on WKYT.com. Next week is finals week for students here at Morehead, and the staff at the library are opening services to help you succeed. NewsCenter Drew Spangler has more.
come into the library, let us help you do your research.
For some, finals week is a dreadful and stressful time, but the staff at the library has some advice to get past finals.
Make sure that you've got a clear idea of what your professor is wanting you to do. Have a clear idea of the paper. If anytime they get stuck, there's always someone at the research help desk, and we certainly will try to help them in any way we can.
And for those looking to have some fun in a usually stressful place,
We've got a lot of things here that they can use to de-stress themselves. We've got coloring books, we have puzzles, we have a tabletop foosball. We also have a meditation area that's going to be in our classroom 201 up on the second floor, and there will be real soft lighting and soft music, and they can meditate for a little bit because you need to take a lot of breaks.
and some who are more serious.
They can also set up a one-on-one session with us, and it can be an hour or 2 hours, however long the student needs it.
And when asked what stumbles students most on finals week,
They want to try to cram it all in at one time. Procrastination. So try to get on it this week, start this week.
for NewsCenter, Drew Spangler.
The library will be open 24 hours a day next week, ending on Friday. Now for a quick look at weather. What can you tell us about the weather outside, Kyle?
Well, right now it's looking partly cloudy and pretty humid outside. There's a possibility that we'll see some rain and thunderstorms later tonight and throughout the rest of the week. It's going to get slightly cooler down into the mid-70s sometime next week, and even cooler into the high 60s, but then it's going to shoot right back up into the 80s again and plenty of sunshine.
Well, I hope it stays warm. Thanks, Kyle. Stay tuned. NewsCenter has more news after the break.
Want to lose weight but don't know where to start? The first step is simple. Get active. Take a stroll from your dorm down to the Fuzzy Duck for about a 1 mile round trip. You can take it a step further and start cooking some healthy food, but walk to IGA instead of driving to Kroger. That's about 1.5 miles. And when you want to reward yourself for making progress, a trip to the movies is a 3-mile round trip. Once walking gets too easy, you can always start jogging. Happy exercising!
Food stamp usage has grown across the Commonwealth and shows no signs of letting up anytime soon. NewsCenter investigated food stamp usage right here on campus and met with one student who said she was forced to turn to the assistants because of her low-paying campus job.
With finals right around. But for some, their worries sit on what their next meal is going to be, a worry Anitra Thompson is all too familiar with.
We really are broke college students.
During her college career, Anitra has been fed off the SNAP program, otherwise known as food stamps, a reality she was forced to face after her campus job only provided her $80 every 2 weeks.
When it comes down to having to pay for your phone bill, for car insurance, gas, just all the other little things, $40 a week really doesn't cut it.
However, Anitra isn't alone. USA Today reports food stamp enrollment for college students went from 5.4% in 2001 and jumped to 12.6% in 2010, nearly doubling. But today, NewsCenter reached out to the Kentucky Cabinet of Health and Family Services about the current numbers. They responded with this, quote, "We do not have this information readily available."
You know, it's one thing to say, I don't have money for my books, but it's another thing to say, I haven't eaten in 2 days.
A program that Shannon Colvin and her Department of Programming, Leadership, and Inclusion say they can always be prepared for with a campus food bank.
Hey, students are hungry. They've run out of their meal plan, their flex dollars. Mom and dad can't afford to send them $100 a week. We can step in and help them get through the rest of that semester.
Yeah, that program definitely fed me. Like, the advisors fed me, because otherwise I just wouldn't have ate.
But Anitra says the problem is rooted in students not making enough money with their campus jobs, which later forced Anitra to get a second and even third job. And now she's telling her coworkers to take the steps she already has.
When I told them I go on food stamps, they were like, "Oh, okay, well maybe I should try that out because we don't make enough." And that's really it. Like, we don't make enough.
An option that even Shannon would recommend to any student in need.
We do have those conversations with students. If a student approaches us and says, you know, what else is available to me? What are my options? And they meet the needs for food stamps, that's certainly something that we can give them as an option.
We're one person, and the fact that we need to go on food stamps just to support ourselves, like, I don't know, that really says a lot, especially coming from people who are in college already struggling.
For NewsCenter, I'm Nick Oliver.
Center also reached out to the Regional Food Stamp Office in Moorhead, where they refused to release the number of food stamp recipients in Round County.
A new MTV show is coming to Pikeville, Kentucky. The show, titled Made in Kentucky, is a reality show that focuses on a group of friends living in Pike County. The mayor of Elkhorn City in Pike County, Mike Taylor, is concerned that the show would shed a negative light on Kentuckians by being overly stereotypical. Elkhorn City is about 20 miles southeast of Pikeville. The show is set to focus on the group having fun and getting into trouble in the eastern part of the state.
Another Kentucky Health Services Center is facing yet another hepatitis A case. This case was reported to officials in Lexington Wednesday morning. According to the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department, a case was discovered at Mill Creek Elementary School. Officials believe the liver disease was transmitted from a child being in contact with an infected person. This was the 400th case in Kentucky where 3 people have died. Doctors continue to encourage everyone to wash their hands, especially after using the restroom.
The Round County Child Abuse Prevention Committee has held their annual Family Fun Day once again. NewsCenter Olivia Leet was there for the event.
From inflatables to superheroes, this event had it all. It's Child Abuse Awareness Month, and that calls for a Family Fun Day. The Family Fun Day event is an annual event that is something that both Moorhead State and Round County take pride in. Derek Piercy, a member of the Round County Child Abuse Prevention Committee, says that him and several others help out on this event for one reason.
Many of us have been, a part of it. It was started by the DCBS office to try to start talking about child abuse prevention and trying to get the community involved and getting this information out to the families of Round County.
Booths were set up all around the Laughlin Gymnasium for both parents and children to go up to.
This event is good because it's preemptive, and a lot of the stuff that I do and the other people that are on the Round County Child Abuse Committee, we're working with families who maybe a child is being abused. We're trying to intercede in that way, but it's good to be able to do an event where you're actually going out and you're giving information and hopefully helping to prevent some of the things that we have to work with on a daily basis. We always do a tally every year. This year, hopefully we exceed last year, which I think was over 600 people.
Piercy says this event increases in numbers each year, but this year the numbers have doubled. For NewsCenter, I'm Olivia Leet.
Thanks, Olivia. Officials say the event was a huge hit and encourage others to support the organization. Stay with us when we get back. Cal joins us for our weather update.
Hey, what's wrong? I'm bored out of my mind. There's nothing to do here. It's not raining. Let's go to Eagle Lake and take a hike. Anything to get me out of this room. was so much fun. We should do this more often.
I totally agree. Now let's go get some food. I'm famished.
I'm Kyle Blinkenbuehler with your weather update. In Moorhead right now, it's 84 degrees and partly cloudy with humidity at 42% and winds around 13 miles per hour. Record temperatures in 1942, the record high was 89 degrees, and in 1978, the record low was 28. The normal high for this time of year is 73 degrees, and the normal low is 46. The temperature map, as you can see, it's 84 degrees in Moorhead, slightly cooler in Ashland and in Lexington at 83 degrees and 81 respectively, also slightly cooler in Frankfort and Louisville at 80 and 79, and the same temperature, 84, in London. The live radar, courtesy of WKYT, you can see there's some rain coming through in western Kentucky, and there's a chance that it'll come through this area into Moorhead later tonight. But right now it's mostly clear, partly cloudy skies, but as you can see there's rain over in western Kentucky right now. For tonight's forecast, there'll be a few clouds and lows around 67 degrees and a 0% chance of precipitation with sunset around 8:27. For tomorrow's forecast, partly cloudy skies and high of 78 degrees with sunrise at 6:35. For the 7-day forecast, it'll be slightly cooler on Friday at 74 degrees with a high chance of showers and thunderstorms at 70%. Also high chance of storms on Saturday, 71 degrees, a 50% chance of rain and scattered thunderstorms. On Sunday, jumping back up into the high 70s at 78 degrees, 30% chance of rain later in the night. Once again, dropping back down to 71 degrees on Monday with a cold front coming through, a 40% chance of rain, and on Tuesday, slightly cooler at 68 and partly cloudy skies. That's all the weather I have. Coming up next is Olivia with sports.
Moorhead baseball traveled to Charleston, Illinois last weekend in OVC action, where they played Eastern Illinois for a 3-game series. In the game opener, the Eagles started off rocky but rallied back from an 8-run fury in extra innings. Eastern Illinois had a great pitching night, but the Eagles could not capitalize until it was too late, digging themselves out of a hole from early on in the game. It took the Eagles till the 9th inning to get the bats ignited, but it was too late. The Eagles fell short 9-8. As Game 2 approached, the Eagles were more prepared to take on the Panthers in full action. The Panthers started the game off with the first couple runs in the opening inning as Moorhead answered back with 2 runs in the second inning. After a while, the Eagle offense went wild and started pushing back with 12 runs in the 8th inning to rally past the Panthers 24-11. Moving on to Game 3, both teams were fighting hard, but the Eagles trailed 5-2 for the first half of the game. Senior Eli Bogus hit a single homer to bring in Trevor Snyder to tie the game in the 6th inning. After that, the Eagles took the lead and never looked back, ending the game 7-5 for the series sweep. This upcoming weekend, Moorhead baseball has more OVC play against the Jacksonville State for a 3-game series at Allen Field. You can tune in live on the ovcdigitalnetwork.com. Passing on to the Lady Eagles softball, where they split the series against the Murray State Racers earlier this week at University Field. In Game 1, both teams had a slow start until catcher Robin Layton made an unusual error in the third inning and allowed the Racers to make the only score of the game. Murray State Campbell only gave up one hit in the game to Moorhead senior Taylor Wheeler in the 6th inning, but the Lady Eagles could not feed off her hit. Chelsea McManaway gave up 3 hits but struck out 8 batters while walking 3, leaving the final score 1-0. In Game 2, the Racers came out with the bats rolling by hitting a 3-run homer in the opening inning, putting the Eagles behind 3-0. The Lady Eagles answered back with clutch offense and solid pitching in which lifted them to a spark. A great RBI single by Hannah Murphy put the Eagles on the scoreboard to catch up in the 2nd inning. Junior Aubrey Bennett launched a home run away from the left-hand field to put the Eagles up for good, with the final score 4-3. That win brings the last home game at University Field for the 2017-2018 season. The Lady Eagles will be on the road for the rest of the campaign. This upcoming weekend, Moorhead softball takes on Eastern Illinois for an OVC doubleheader, and you can tune in live on the OVCDigitalNetwork.com. Moorhead State Athletics held an annual honors banquet earlier this week at Johnson Arena, recognizing all coaches and student athletes on their accomplishments throughout the 2017-2018 athletic campaign. The awards given at the ceremony were the Laughlin Miller, Mr. and Mrs. Eagles, Best Male and Female Performance, Best Victory, Coach of the Year, Team Academic, and Team Community Service Awards. Several student athletes were honored at the ceremony for the following awards, as well as other nominees were recognized as well. Freshman track and field runner Madison Pelfrey tells us how she balances one of the most difficult programs at Moorhead State University. She is studying nursing, yet still finds time to give all she has to being a successful Division I athlete.
So my name's Madison Pelfrey. I'm a freshman and I run cross country and track. I think it was 5th grade I started running. Well, it didn't actually start till like 7th grade. And I just started to love it like the more and more I did it, so I was excited. This college was the only college that would allow me to do nursing on top of cross country and track, so other colleges, they like kind of offered it, but they said it would be difficult, but this one, it's like totally flexible. Personally, I'm still trying to figure it out. It's actually like, it takes a lot of dedication and like planning your time, you know, time management. You have to like love what you do. You have to make sure you get up every day and like, you know, do your best at whatever you do. I don't think I'd be like as organized and like staying on task, like staying on top of things, getting things done on time if I weren't in the sport, if I weren't in cross country and track. Like it definitely keeps me busy, but it also keeps me like focused. It depends on the workout. They're all hard, but there's some that are like a lot more harder than like, you know, most. It depends on how much effort you put into it, I guess. I was excited to be able to do like both things that I love.
Back after the break.
Are you interested in becoming a service dog sitter or handler? 4 Paws for Ability at MSU allows members to get involved with the Service Dog Association. During your membership, you could help future service dogs get used to a public setting and get accustomed to staying on the clock in a home environment. For more information, follow MSU 4 Paws or email msusda@outlook.com.
Families rushed to the Moorhead Conference Center on Tuesday as the Kentucky Center for Traditional Music presented their final concert, Sounds of Our Heritage. NewsCenter's James Daniels was there for the performance.
From bluegrass to western swing and even gospel music, the sounds of our heritage filled the halls of the Moorhead Conference Center. With over 8 sections of traditional music, Raymond McLean says he was overwhelmed by the performance of the students.
I just couldn't have been more impressed with our students and the way they rose to this occasion. You know, they work hard, and then the concert at the end of the semester kind of is the it's kind of the icing on the cake. You know, it's the time they get to put all the things they've been studying into practice.
There was even a painting made to commemorate the guidance of the KCTM veterans.
Whoa, look, isn't that?
They finished off the concert with a song. With NewsCenter, I'm James Daniels.
The Kentucky Center for Traditional Music will return next semester for their fall concerts.
The Boy Scouts of America program is about to allow girls into the ranks. The program will now be called the Scouts BSA. This change is to open up the program to include everyone and not just focus on boys. Girls will be able to start joining the program next year. At the current moment, girls are already being admitted into the Cub Scouts. This change comes from a plan to increase membership numbers as well as give benefits to young girls wanting to be included in the previous boy-only program.
Former WWE champion wrestler Kane is taking his wrestling to the political fighting arena. Kane, whose real name is Glenn Jacobs, won a Republican primary race Tuesday in Tennessee, becoming the GOP nominee for the mayor of Knox County. Jacobs managed to get 17 votes over his opponent. However, this won't be official for a few more days due to a slim margin. Jacobs feels that although his novelty of his wrestling career gave him a boost, he feels like his message meant more to the voters than appeal.
The adult film star known as Stormy Daniels has filed a defamation suit against President Donald Trump after he tweeted her story was a con. Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, has made claims that she had a sexual encounter with Trump back in 2006. She alleged she was warned by an unidentified man to keep quiet about it after she made a public statement a few years later. Clifford worked with a forensic artist earlier this month to create a sketch of the man who warned her. Trump has claimed this man does not exist.
An event called for Run for Roman will be held Saturday at 9 a.m. The 4-year-old Roman Sims was diagnosed with a brain tumor on March 9th and went through a successful surgery to remove the tumor. The event is a 4K and the proceeds are going towards supporting the Roman's medical expenses. The fee is a race for the minimum donation of $10. Runners and walkers will be receiving a t-shirt and a bracelet for being involved in a race, and the medals will be awarded to the top 3 adults and top 3 children.
Finals week is upon us and the end is in sight. Middle schools across the United States are finding ways to help their students relax and let go of stress so they can focus on their finals. The University of Utah has created a space to allow their students a 10-minute crying session. The inside of the exhibit is covered with soft materials to help soothe the students. This cry closet was created by Nemo Miller and was designed to let students truly let it out and just get away from their studies for 10 minutes. Many students feel that maybe this should be a permanent campus addition. And that's a wrap from all of us here with NewsCenter. We will not be broadcasting next week because of finals. So this is our last show of the semester.
This semester we say goodbye to a group of outstanding seniors: Jacob Valerio, Taylor Hawker, my coworker Nate Brown, and Nick Oliver. As always, thank you for trusting us as your campus news source. From our whole crew, thanks for watching, good luck on finals, see you next semester.